Chapter 6. This is Staring at the Tree. Chapter 6. Changes. In December 2020, I had to admit to myself that I was having thoughts that the planet did not need me. This is shocking to everyone. I appeared to be the happiest person on the planet. However, I was sad, like sad. The more I thought about my future, the more I felt hopeless. My life feeling heavy. Although I have never attempted suicide and never will, I know that there are people that love me and need me, and I have fought too hard to get to this place in my life to just give up. However, recognizing that you are having those thoughts is the first step. When you are in a thought cycle of ending it all, when you are in that place, the fatal decision making happens. No, I would never No, I would never hurt myself, but I would eat myself to a heart attack. I would maybe drive too fast too many times. If you find yourself there, at that place, it is time to get help. When I was there, I reached out to doctors that I worked with. My mania had completely inhabited after the park, and I understood that the universe brought me the one thing I asked for. However, I was still questioning that it was real. Maybe if I deserved it, which is sad for me. Why? Because I deserve happiness. I really thought for many years that my old friend and I would be super cute in a real relationship. We have a strong foundation of friendship, and that friendship would make a strong marriage. This is facts of life. Strong marriages are built on a solid foundation. The more and more I thought about who my one true love was, when he came into the frame of mind, each time I entered a scene for life I want. Each time I entered a scene for a life I would want. The more and more his smiling face was there, the more I had seen how he would be able to make all my dreams come true. Why? Because my dreams are his. He's already working to the dream. The dream, the dream I'm after, he was after the same dream. In a world that sometimes feels like it's never nice to me, some sometimes life kicks me so hard that I just lay on the floor and cry. Sometimes it feels like I cannot get up. Yet I do every time. However, fights are hard and labor intensive. I am exhausted, and all I want is to relax in a life I want. That life is peaceful. Where do I feel at peace? Under a tree in the middle of nowhere, floating on top of the water, giving and getting big hugs, eating my favorite food, smiling in a van in the middle of nowhere with a boy I love since middle school. And as I researched my old friend to see if everything he told me in the park was true, the more I understood that he was the peace I needed. He was my home. I have been running from his love since he tried to make out with me, and every time he tried, I smacked him away. I loved him too. I did. However, I need a hug. That hug. You know, that hug. There is a hug that only my old friend can give. You cannot grow it. You cannot buy it at a supermarket. You cannot train it. You cannot duplicate it. I've tried. I've searched for it like a drug. It's a superpower. The park with my old friend in December 2020. That hug was my peace. It charged me up and needed to be charged. Then I started to fade away again. I needed another one. However, to have the very thing that is my peace, I needed to do the one thing I did not want. My ex husband could not provide me with that hug. He was not a hugger. He hates them. I love them. I need them to charge my joy garden. And over time, you grow up and you stop hugging. Children just hug everything. That is why my old friend and I are huggers. We were in elementary school, and the excuse to touch girls, ask for a hug. My old friend and I just hugged and hugged. Then we started having moving parts. Those parts were touching my belly button. I am short, he is tall. We fit together like a puzzle, making our hugs the best hugs. When the rhythm of our heart gets in sync, it starts to feel, it starts to make you float. You cannot get that on Tinder. Beefhead Bob is not going to kiss me on the forehead to tell me it will be alright. I needed someone to trust so badly when I found in December 2020. My family, the person that was there for me when I felt this way before, he just shows up looking and sounding like he was 17, cracking a joke in the middle of me crying, trying not to jump to me to hold me. He could not. I was married. I have not seen him since 2014. However, he has been out of my daily life since 2007. Every 7 years, I get to see him. Every two, I have an emotional burst. I get an emotional boost with direct messages. When I seen him in person as a grown man and well, I low key was going to find something wrong with it. There's no way. I just manifested this. Fun fact about me, I am obsessed with The Secret and Freemasons. I low key find it hilarious. Also, I'm completely serious. I have been interviewing elderly Masons to figure out what the secret is. When you get to the 33rd degree, you get the life secret. That secret is the Holy Grail. That's the Knights Templar carried it in the Holy Grail. That's what the Knights Templar carried in the Holy Grail. That one movie that my old friend used to make me make horse sounds to, that movie, along with a lot of History Channel. What's in the chest, bro? I'm obsessed with figuring out the Holy Grail. It's so funny. It's me, the Holy Grail. Why people just have better lives. Why life seems to favor others. And by George, I think I figured it out in Spy Game Dementia's render with the Spy Games Dementia rendered men using my giggles and my beat and my blood pressure cuff to get the intel. That with a lot of Gaia, just be joyful and chill out. Start dreaming again. Manifestation is simply dreaming again. You stop doubting that you cannot. You dream that you can. And after a few years of really trying to rewire your brain, it's hard to it is hard to turn off the demons in your head. You just turn them off and kick them off. You will help clear your head to dream bigger dreams. The happier I got, the more excited I got for life. The happier I got, the more, the happier I wanted. The happier I got, the happier I wanted. Then I kept thinking about what makes me happy, who made me happy, who surrounded me with unconditional love. That person was always my old friend. My childhood was hard. The wildfire of addiction wrecked my family, destroying it. When that was happening, my old friend was the friend that I cried at the same tree. When I needed to get a panic attack off my chest, I would walk with my hoodie up to hide my sadness. He would already be there, usually with an orange or an apple for me. I would sit down and put my earbud in, and if my face was red and puffy, he did not even ask. We would just sit, and I would put my head on his chest and get the cry out. And if I screamed in his chest, no one could hear. This has went on since the first grade. The first grade, we moved from the shady slide to a bigger school with more trees. Webster School. There was a world with all the states. Back on the fence line was a big group of trees and steps, and at the school we really started our friendship. This is my memory wood started to glow with all of his memories. We would jump around the world. He would promise to take me to all the places, and I would stand in the state and tell him what we would do. After that, we might hit up the swings, do some slide action. We were exhausted and hot. The trees we go. The leaves were crunchy in the fall, and if we weren't in the same class, it broke our heart if recess was inside. In the second grade, he was down the hall. I was in a new class with a boy with the same name as my old friend, my fire buddy's name. I was in a new class with a boy with the same name as my old friend and my fire buddy's brother's name. Let's call him Mr. Pinky. That's Cody. My old friend passed me in the hall with his book. We all had to make a book for our final project. We were all excited and took it very seriously. He goes, "Look, Stace, I made a book." He was so excited and started his he was so excited and it started his love for drawing. And over the years, he just got better and better, and he would go, "Look, Stace," over and over again, his voice getting deeper and deeper. Then he was showing me more than pictures in a pad. Well, "Look, Stace" got slower and more breathless. "Look, Stace," adding eye gestures, using your imagination on what the Adam's apple told me to look at. Every year at school, we were each other's biggest encouragements. Every project for school or assignment, we were working together. We were working our work Every year at school. We were each other's biggest encouragements. Every project for school or assignment, our working relationship was so solid. That is something that I want in a person in my life. He understands how to communicate with me, and although I am overall wonderful, there are times when I let bitter Betty demon inhabit. She is bitter and mean, and there's no one that wants to be around bitter Betty. My old friend loves the Golden Girls and can flirt the old bitter bitch into a good mood. And remembering how he can easily distract me into joy. This is nice. It makes me warm and fuzzy, and when I was on the journey to love myself, his memory kept making me want to love myself. That is a sign from the universe.